Hey, welcome everyone. Welcome to another episode of the Original Sports Podcast with Mark Maradei, yours truly, and the Barbershop crew, which will be here in just a few minutes. The NCAA hoop action always has its last-second victors. I'm sure you saw them this weekend. It's underdog chest beaters, and of course the mammoth that should never lose but squeaks by. We saw those this past weekend. We look at those David and Goliath matchups and who has shown the door after it was barely cracked open for them. Shown the door. Get out. We're done with you. We also take another peek at the NFL's free agency and the moves that can or might make a difference, along with other hot button topics from this past weekend in the world of sports. Stick around. It's going to be a fun show, everybody.
National Streaming Sports is brought to you in part by BetUs.com, designed for true fans. NFL odds, Week 1 and futures, college football odds, including Heisman Trophy favorites and playoff odds, NBA odds of division winners and playoffs, Major League Baseball playoff and World Series odds, the National Hockey League Conference playoffs and Stanley Cup odds, and boxing wagers. Betting opportunities include versus the spreads and outright winners, also during the game. Use our link on our website, nessp.info, the Bet Us Opportunities webpage, for a 125% bonus on your first 3 deposits. Must be 21 years old, and remember, bet responsibly.
You're going to call anyone that loves you. You're going to ask them if you can use their card to buy concert tickets because your card's maxed out. Okay. If they say yes, you get the tickets.
I can't call my parents because they already think I make bad financial decisions. Well, so I think I'll call one of my friends.
Okay.
I'm a little nervous. I feel tingly.
What's your not answer?
Giovanna?
Yes.
I was on SeatGeek earlier and I saw 2 tickets for Olivia Rodrigo at a really good price. So
oh my God.
I maxed my credit card out by accident last week. Do you think I could use yours to buy the tickets?
Oh my God, yes.
Did I what?
Yeah, you got the tickets. You got the tickets.
I just want tickets. We're going to go to the concert together. Giovanna, I'll call you later. Love you. Thanks for picking up. Oh my God. I'm going to see Olivia Rodrigo.
Yes, thank you, SeatGeek.
Ladies and gentlemen, boys and girls around the world, it's time to experience the O's on the Original Sports Podcast.
Hey, welcome everyone again to this episode of the Original Sports Podcast with Mark Maradei and the Barbershop crew. I got my boy Chops here with me. I got Rage Against the Machine here with me tonight. Hey, this episode is brought to you by Scotty's Vodka, homemade vodka that you will not go wrong with buying. Find it at your local ABC store, your local liquor store. It mixes great with anything and everything. So thanks to Scotty for sponsoring the show again this week. Fellas, how we doing tonight?
Just had me some grape Kool-Aid. I'm pretty well. I'm pretty good.
You know what goes good with grape Kool-Aid?
Cheetos? I don't know.
Scotty's Vodka.
Ooh. I don't know. I don't drink alcohol, so yeah. But yes.
Well, that's a good thing. That's a good thing. Choppers, what's going on? Your boy, breaking news tonight. Your boy, Russ Wilson, gone.
I saw that.
21 million. He signed 21 million with the Giants. So the Steelers now lost Justin Fields for 20 million a year, Russell Wilson for 21 million a year.
And I was reading they lost Darnold because they just offered him peanuts. They offered Darnold, but it was peanuts. They wanted to do the Steelers way and go cheap, and it cost you. It cost them. Yeah. You know what I mean? But like
at the end of the day, you get what you bargained for.
That's it. That is it, Jack. That is it.
Yep.
Absolutely. So, Sheen and I were talking about it, different things, what's going on. We'll get more of them on, later on our Terrible Talk later this week.
Hey, thanks for joining us tonight. Cards in my car with R. Posada. Glad to have you here. And yes, definitely try Scotty's Vodka. You cannot go wrong. You cannot go wrong.
Did that say she was from Stockton?
Yeah. Stockton,
the Stockton Bad Boys, the Diaz brothers, MMA cats. They're from Stockton.
How do we know it's a she?
Raiders need a whole lot. Yes, they do. Yes, they do. Absolutely, positively. They're as bad. Actually, to be honest with you, Cards, they might be a little bit better off than the Steelers.
Yeah.
They might be. Hey, I don't want to get into Steeler talk. We save that for Thursdays for terrible talk. But, boy.
Come back on Thursdays,
Poseidon. Yeah, come back and listen to us on Thursday. But I'll tell you, the Steelers are sitting there waiting now for Aaron Rodgers. That's turning ugly.
It's going to be okay. Steelers are going to be fine. We have a quarterback that can make all the reads and all the throws.
Okay. So anyway, fellas, I know we've been watching the hoops action. What's your bracket look like? What does your bracket look like?
Man, mine's busted as a bucket of glass.
Every year I say I'm going to do one, and the next thing I know, the games have started, and I'm effed. So,
yeah. I'll tell you what. The team I liked was Duke. I liked St. John's. I think we talked about this last week on the show, and the only team that's still hanging around that I liked was Duke.
Yeah.
That's it. I mean, I liked Florida, but I didn't like Florida to go too far. I didn't get them into the Final Four. I do like Michigan State still.
Speaking of Duke, I just see a documentary. It's called "The Class That Saved Coach K." You gotta check that out, man. It's pretty good.
Ooh.
My Uncle Weldon was in that class. I didn't even know that was a thing, but Uncle Weldon, that's my Uncle Weldon. Yes.
Oh, that's interesting.
Pretty smooth. Yes.
Have to check that out. I was never a Duke fan.
Yeah.
Michigan State. I'm a big Izzo fan, to tell you the truth. Definitely an Izzo fan, but I was never a Duke fan until they changed coaches. I like this young guy that they have right now. I can feel the vibe from him. There was something always sneaky about K with me. There was something about him I just didn't.
I still don't care for Duke.
You said you mean like a Sandusky type thing?
No, not like that. There's just something slimy to me. Now that's just me. All our fans out there who like Duke, they probably be like, "You're crazy. Shut up, Maradei." But to me, there was something slimy about him. I like this young guy who's coaching them now, and I'm a big, big fan of that Cooper Flagg kid. He's just a lot of fun to watch as a 19-year-old kid. He plays with passion. Did you know that he picked his number because that's the number his mother wore?
No.
Yep. It was very neat to hear that. That team is dominant. I watched that game Sunday. That was what was it? Like
they did. I expected more from Baylor.
Oh my God. It was tight. And then all of a sudden you blinked your eyes and they blew them out the gym doors. It was insane to me.
Yeah.
It was insane. But what game did you guys like this weekend?
Oh, it had to be Florida UConn.
Why does it have to be?
Man, because Florida was number 1 seed. UConn was returning champ. Hurley hadn't lost. Would he have 13 straight wins or 12 straight wins? And that came down to the wire, pimp. And a lot of people have Florida winning it all.
Yeah.
Yeah, well, UConn was an 8 seed. I wasn't like,
But they were
okay.
So if you look at the seeding from that perspective, Sheen, I get it. But that was a pretty bad seeding for them.
Who'd you have, Sheen?
Arkansas and St. John's.
But now you liked it. Now, but when you think about it, neither of them. Well, some people I did too had St. John's going to my Final Four, but it depended on how rough they let them play. Because St. John's played tough defense.
The rest were stinking.
Yeah, but St. John's didn't help themselves because they missed a lot of easy buckets. St. John's missed a lot of easy buckets.
Yeah, they can't shoot.
That was a good one. But see, that one though was more about the coaches as well.
Yes.
Calipari versus Pitino. That's where, I'm trying to keep it about the guys on the court. You know what I mean? You're more coaches.
Pittsburgh's own, baby.
Did you know that I didn't know this. Did you know that Pitino and Calipari aren't even like friends?
Yeah, well, not until they started talking about it.
Well, that was pretty amazing to hear. Like, they don't dislike each other. In fact, there are a couple of paisans. I'm thinking one, one's a chucha, one isn't. But anyway, exactly. I was really kind of shocked at that. I know that, those two have been coaching in the NCAA forever.
And they're one of the few guys left from old school. You know what I'm saying? Old school.
The golden era.
Yeah, seriously. I mean, they really are.
That's
you
a
know
good
what
way
I mean?
to put it, Sheen.
Yeah.
So
it was the golden era.
And they really are. And Izzo is got to be up there as well. Izzo's in his mid to late 60s as well. I know. So but I don't know why. And I know he's won championships, whatever have you, and he's always up there. But when I'm talking old school and that the Patino and the Calipari, yes, your boy Izzo is old school, just like they are, because he's been there so long.
Yeah.
But man, I just look at them in a different light. Maybe because I don't know why, but I just look at them in a different light. You know, maybe when Calipari was even back with UMass and what I don't know, man. I just look at them differently.
I think that's because we're older. Honestly, when these young bucks, I don't know if the young bucks that are coaching today will stick around at the school as long as some of these guys did. Because let's face it, Patino was at Louisville forever. You know, Calipari was at Kentucky for a minute. You know, like those guys. You know, Massimino was Raleigh Moss. He was at Villanova forever.
Nova.
You know,
yeah.
I mean, Boeheim,
Georgetown.
The big fella. Those guys just didn't jump around. Now you got that guy that just lost from Colorado State. He's already committed to be the head coach at Minnesota. He had already committed to that before they even played.
Well, same with old boy from McNeese State. McNeese State. He was going to NC State.
Sean Miller's going to Texas.
Yeah.
I saw that too.
That's a gig. Yeah. Miller.
You know, there's no commitment. There's no. We know this from every sport today, though, fellas. We know this from every sport that there is no commitment. No. You know, you don't want to stick around at a particular place too long. You're going to go follow the money. Find the money trail and follow the money. You know, those guys go somewhere else. What happens if they lose right away and get fired? You know, I mean, to be honest with you, Capel at Pitt has that huge contract. I don't know how he sticks around. I did read that
nobody wants to pay it.
Well, two things about him. Two things. Number one, I heard that he is supposed to basically move along a bunch of his assistant coaches. That was part of the problem. And then number two, I heard today that a bunch of those guys hit the transfer portal.
The twins are gone.
Hey, see ya. They didn't win with them. You know what I'm saying? Like, if you can't win with guys, it's the same in the NFL. You get, I hate to say this, but, you know, like, we're all hard on TJ Watt, or most of us are. But Steelers don't win with them. They win games, but they're not winning a Super Bowl with them. But why do you need them?
We didn't win with the Killer Bees either.
No.
Man.
You know?
That's depressing.
But I mean, I'm just, you know, I'm using that as an example. If a guy stopped producing for you to win championships, at the end of the day, it's all about championships. Would you or would you not agree with me?
For the company, yes. For me, I'd be like, nah, I'm cool with that.
You know.
Well, yeah, it is to me. It is about championships, but you have to. I don't know if it's the way they break it down because there's so many guys, but with the cap in football, paying one player an astronomical amount just doesn't make sense unless you've drafted well and you've got a lot of guys still in their rookie contract. Because once you start, you can't pay everybody. You know what I mean? So, and fellas, we've been through it, and I've said it before. I do not believe there is one player on a team more special than anyone, because we've seen guys lose because the kicking game was terrible. We've seen teams win because kickers made impressive kicks. We've seen teams lose because that D line was incredible. The way the Giants stopped the Patriots from having the perfect season. Hell, the way this year's Eagles won it because of that D line. And then we've seen it where the offensive line has just crumbled and couldn't block the sun out of their eyes. You know what I mean? So to me, that's why. But you know, we talked about it, but I mean, I'm still, you know, sports is sports, still like it, whatever have you, but it is to me about championships. And I know people say, well, only one person can win it a year. Then you guys got to do what you need to do to be that team. You can you can hire guys like us to not win it. You pay all those guys big money to win it.
Yeah.
Stephon Diggs to the Patriots.
I saw that.
Yeah. They had a lot of lot
A
of
lot
money.
of draft capital. Yeah,
You know,
yeah. I'm interested to see what Vrabel
the
can do
reliever,
there.
the closer, Michael Gott. Hey, what's up, Mike?
Yeah,
Thanks for
Mikey
joining us
G,
tonight.
that's real, baby. That
Hey,
is
it is.
real.
It went down 21 million. 21 million. You know,
I'm not him. I hope Russ goes there and shows that he got neighbors. They got some weapons in place. I hope he does a lot, but I hope he has a
That
good season.
that old arm ain't gonna be able to keep up with neighbors. Next.
Okay, we'll see.
I don't know, dude. I don't know.
Okay.
I don't know if they'll handcuff him like he was handcuffed the previous year.
Okay.
Or even be.
That's gonna be good to tell. Yeah, that's gonna be telling. Okay.
We'll see. Even the system he worked in out in Denver, is he going to be handcuffed like he was out there? You know, like Russ wants to be able to do what Russ can do. Still, I think he knows his limitations, and I bet you that's what he sells when he goes to places. What's he going to be? 37 next year, right?
Oh, wait.
Yeah,
and that means they're both in New York. Ooh, they're gonna both get the scrutiny.
Phil,
I didn't think of that.
Yeah,
I didn't think of that.
I can see Tomlin on the cover of the New York Post. Thanks, Pittsburgh.
Yeah, but Russ has been there. He's been to 2 Super Bowls, won one. I don't see the pressure getting to him. He played in Colorado where they hated him, and still was a constant professional and did his thing. He put up numbers.
We're gonna see.
Hey,
yeah,
just can't. Can you imagine paying a 37-year-old quarterback $21 million? I can't even fathom the idea of paying somebody like Aaron Rodgers $40 million.
Exactly.
They're not going to pay him 40.
Well, look here. The fact that Rodgers has the gumption, the unadmitted gall to tell teams, "I'll decide what I'm going to do for you." Are you kidding me? Are you kidding me? That's how good the fellas say whatever you want. That's how good it is to be white, because no black quarterback can do that. Fellas, Rodgers, take away the name and look at his numbers. Let Russell Wilson have done that. You know, if Russell Wilson would have acted like that,
there have been people just as bad and saying the same things. Some
saying
people,
what?
I don't believe Russell Wilson thinks he can do this. Then there's going to be people that say, hey.
Hold on. Russell Wilson has taken other things. Russell Wilson has not made anything, well, I'm going to sit there and wait. Russell Wilson had to wait for these teams to say, we're ready to pull this trigger. Rodgers has looked like dog doo-doo for the last 3 seasons, because his last season in Green Bay wasn't great. And he still is sitting there and telling cats, I'll let you know when I'm ready.
Chops,
really?
It's going to be okay. Hey, Chop, here's a hug. It's going to be okay, buddy.
You got to stop saying that. At what point does it not become okay? Tomlin hasn't done anything since 2016.
Put your arms up and give me a hug. Come on. Hug me.
You and other Steelers fans got to stop. You guys got to stop saying, here's what they're doing. Here's what they're doing, Barber. They're repeating phrases they've heard other people say that they don't know what it means. Because when they say it's going to be okay, at what point does...
All right, okay. It's going to be all right.
Let's jump back to the NCAA basketball. Can we please? And then we can talk a little football.
Chops gives me a hug.
Give him his hug, Choppers.
No, dog, I want to go to steel cage match.
Give him kisses.
Steel cage match. You guys pick it. I'll come up there. And
we got to get you up there. We got to get you up here. Hey, fellas, my game of the weekend, and I really sincerely mean this, was the Maryland game.
Maryland, Colorado State game. Here you go.
Yeah, that was a great game.
Yeah.
It was a great game. It was a great game, but you had 4 and 12. Now, let me ask you this. Did you guys get any text? Are you friends with any Colorado State people or even Maryland people are like, yo, that was a walk?
Okay, so here's what they said about the supposed walk. You can gather step in 2 steps. That's what it is. That's why it wasn't a walk. He got a gather step in 2 steps.
In the hood, we call that a gather and 2 steps.
Is that what you call it in the hood?
Yeah. What they call it up the courts, Chops? Motherfucker, walk!
Yeah.
Go, zoom, you walk.
Give it a little check ball. Back
then. Today.
Get that shit back out.
Yes, exactly. No, Tracer. He's waving it off.
Yeah.
Today.
Yo, I tell you what, though, I'm not gonna lie to you, fellas. I know you and the Maryland fans being up there, but you gotta be. Your boy is doing work as a true freshman. So
Queen?
far, the moment has not been too big for him. It really hasn't.
Derek Queen's legit.
Well, he went to
Yeah,
Mount Verdi, didn't he?
Yeah.
Yeah.
Yep. He's
Here's
legit.
real quick. I want you guys. Is this start Sweet 16, Elite 8, Final Four championship game? Start
All
making a mental note of this. Real talk. Make a mental note of this. We talked about Calipari earlier. Calipari has always had a lot of great teams, and they're high ranking. However, he's only won, I think, one chip because he had young teams. And when you get into these tournaments, young fellas, some of the pressure break pipes. So I want to see from here on out, if as great as Duke is, if Duke succumbs to an older team. If you know what I mean, I want to see as we get through the 16 Elite 8 Final Four championship game, if some of these older teams, the pressure doesn't get to them as much if they come out on top.
Hey, shout out to Jonathan Holloway before we go any further. Hey,
what up,
thanks,
Jay
Jonathan.
Hollow? What's up with you?
Chops, I hear you, but I just think this Duke team is way too mature.
Hold up, Chops, because I'm making my mental note. Hold on.
Go ahead. Your boy is a freshman. Mason's a freshman. Kernuffle, whatever his name is, he's a freshman. Now, is Brown a junior or a sophomore? That other cat Brown. We'll see. We'll see. I'm just, and I'm not even saying it's going to go that way. I just want to see, because you look at some of the younger teams, whether it's the Fab Five as freshmen, sophomores, or like I said, Calipari teams, they were talented, but when they're young, they'll make young man mistakes, young-minded mistakes when the game pressure. So I want to see that as the pressure tightens as we get in these smaller rounds.
Here's my thoughts about it. I think that these kids playing at the high school level played in high pressure games at the high school level. They weren't playing. It wasn't Kiski Apollo Ridge. Okay, so these kids played high level games. They already had the pressure on them since they were in high school. Maybe some of them in junior high school. Who knows?
They were better than everybody else in that high school. Not everybody at the high school was your boy, the freshman that you like. But now he's got guys or whatever. Go ahead, Sheen.
You saying they were better they were playing against what in high school?
They were so much better than the talent they're playing against in high school. They might be playing against some good teams. Hold on for a second.
Mount Verdi?
Flag. Hold on, Flag. Flag is a hell of a talent, and he's still going to be number one pick.
They all play with
overall, he's playing against significantly better talent in competition now than he was in high school. And that's what I'm saying. So even though they were in big games in high school, if 10,000 people showed up for a game in high school, they were still the best guy on the court. They were still going to get theirs.
Yeah, but listen.
Now you're playing in front of 20,000 national television.
Right. But now you're playing against older men. But at Mount Verdi, you're playing 5 stars versus 5 stars.
Yeah, that was my point, Sheen. Thank you.
IMG. Okay. Mount Verdi's playing IMG. They're playing.
You do realize when we watch college football, and then a guy will come in as a highly touted freshman, and they'll say, "Can you believe the guy from Alabama, Williams? And can you believe the catch that freshman made?" Mm-hmm. Because even though you were the man in high school, you're going up to a different level, regardless of how good you are in college. When you say, "Well, he's still a rookie," that's why there is such an awe of what Daniels did, because he's a rookie. So you know what I mean. Right. So
football's different, though, Cops. Football's different because you can play public school football where they're from, and you're playing public schools. But when you're playing private school basketball, you're playing elite of the elite.
And like AAU stuff?
Yeah, that's a fact, Chops. For sure. I talked to a man this morning, the boy from Blake, Barber. He's the #1 sophomore in the country.
Yeah.
Right. Yeah, and I said to the guy, I said, "Well, why isn't he at private school?" He said, "Because he plays EYBL, which I don't even know what the hell that is. He plays AAU. He don't need to do all that. That's what he does. So you're playing against the best of the best when you're playing it, not in the public schools, but in the privates, you're playing the best of the best."
Let's just keep a mental note. Let's just keep a mental note of how much we hear what a freshman does or what a senior does. Because
to add to that too, Chops, all the recruiting for every other sport other than football happens at those club sports. They don't happen at the high school. Guys don't show up to Thomas Johnson High School to see a kid unless he's playing AAU and he knows that he's going to be local playing on his high school team because he knows what he sees when he plays on his high school team, that he's far and above everybody else. Exactly like you're saying. They go recruit at the AAU games, at the EYBL games, at that stuff, because they're seeing iron sharpening iron. They're seeing iron sharpening iron. And I think that's what the difference is. If you watch the Colorado, if you watch the Duke game, Cooper Flagg stands out as an 18, 19-year-old, whatever he is. He stands out as the man on the court. He really does. Playing against older guys.
You're absolutely right. But regardless of how big, how strong, how fast you are, 18 mentally is 18 mentally. And at some point, the pressure will get to you. It will. So, but that's all I'm saying. Let's see as it goes further down, and how many times we hear on these national broadcasts how much they make. This guy's only a freshman, or this senior-led team, this junior, senior-led team. Regardless of who it is, we'll like I say, because I believe that was a huge reason Calipari didn't win as many as he had, because he had a lot of one and dones.
And that's what's still going on in a lot of programs.
Yeah.
That's the other bad part of that porthole, guys. You never get to build 2 years of chemistry with a bunch of dudes, 3 years of chemistry with a bunch of dudes and make a run in a national championship. You have to grab what's in the porthole now, try and mold them, take a run, because if somebody else gets offered money to go somewhere else, they're gone.
They don't care.
They're kind of like Sheen said about winning chips. He wants the money. He doesn't care about having a chip.
I don't understand how the NCAA are allowing guys to enter the portal and they're not even done playing yet. There are guys literally
that was funny.
Portal opened yesterday. The portal opened yesterday, and guys are still playing.
Yeah.
Yes.
Yeah.
The kid from was it Vanderbilt Chops or Wake Forest, where he said I think it was either right after the game or like right in the locker room, he was like, he took a picture.
Yeah. And I mean, like, and there's some guys that are still playing. What coach was it? One of the coach said he came in. I can't remember. He came in and he said, all right, we're going to have meetings, but I got to ask the guys, are you coming back or not next year? And they're still going on to Sweet 16. Who the hell? What the hell coach is that? But that to me, but also, Mark, as you guys talk about it for the portal and guys jumping ship, we don't see teams anymore. We don't see, when I say that, you see a lot of ISO ball. You see a lot of guys playing as individuals. And the one thing that does bother me now, how many guys, I see it in pro as well, but definitely in these college tournaments, which is starting to kill me, taking unnecessary 3-pointers, coming down on a 2-on-1 break and guys stopping at the 3-point and shooting a low point and missing. Or when guys you're down by 1 with X amount of time left, you have X amount of time left before whatever, and you shoot a 3. You're only down by 1. Why you didn't need a 3? That's bothering me, where we're missing a lot of the fundamentals. And start watching. Go ahead.
I was going to say, I think the porthole has hurt college basketball more than anything, but I also think that it helps college basketball more too, because a team like Duke isn't going to lose guys to the portal. They might lose the 7th or 8th man coming off the bench. They're not going to lose their top 5 guys unless they go to the league. That just doesn't happen like that so much with those high-end programs, those blue bloods, as we put it. It happens more at the lower level. I'm curious to see, and I think this is going to happen. I think Arkansas is going to be in the Final Four, maybe in the Final 2 next year. I could see that happening. I could see St. John's pushing the Final Four, the Final 2 next year, because I think I think those guys know how to work the system. They have that card that they can bring to the table. Hey, look, here's what I've done. Whereas some of these younger guys are saying, hey, come with me. We got a young system, a young program. We're full of energy. We can make this run. I know we can. I think that a guy like Calipari or a guy like Pitino, when they come to the table and they say, hey, I've done it. I've won the chip. I've got guys to the next level. I've been successful. Guys who come off the bench from me made the league. I just feel like you're going to see teams like that be there next year, because it'll be their second year around. But we'll see. Hey, what'd you guys think of the Juju's accident, her injury last night? Man, that bummed me out. Really, I love watching that girl play.
Yeah, but as soon as it happened, you knew. You knew.
Yeah, absolutely.
Like when you thought at first she just tripped, right? But when you reran it, you knew that's ACL and it's gone. And I don't want to say funny isn't funny isn't peculiar. How they wouldn't release anything. They're saying, well, she's not coming back in the second half. She's going to go get it. You knew. They knew it, and back at halftime, or hell, at the end of the first quarter, early first quarter, they took it out. They knew by the end of the first quarter it's a torn ACL.
What's that do for her career?
Mark, did you ask me that?
She can go to league. Yeah, she'll be all right.
Well, first off, I'm being dead serious. I'm assuming some of these girls leave early to go to the WNBA. I'm assuming just like some of the men to do. Okay.
Hey, 75 grand is 75 grand.
Yeah, I don't know how many freshman girls leave to go to the WNBA. But now, Mark.
She's not a freshman.
She's sophomore.
Sophomore, you're right. But now, if you'd asked me 5-7 years ago, it might have been different. But those injuries, they've come so long with medicine, but they still say it could be 10 to 12 good months before she's ready to ball again. Yeah. That could mean the entire next season. So I don't see her going to the WNBA again. I do see her coming back and being healthy and working out, but I'd like to see how hard she gets on it, because you don't forget your boy Cam Akers. He tore his ACL and he was back not a few months, but he made it back for the season, I think, within like 6 to 8 months. So it can be done. And, she does have youth on her side. That 20-year-old body rebounds a whole lot better in 35, 40, 45, 50.
She's marketable too, fellas.
Yeah,
she's very marketable. She's a cute kid. She's got a nice smile. She's very polite. She's very marketable. Like with Jaden Daniels, I wish his mother would get the hell out of the way now. Okay?
Hold on before we get that real quick. When she screamed, because we've seen players hurt themselves and they know right then and there it's serious.
Yeah, she knew.
That's what I was gonna say. Do you think it was a scream out of pain because she grabbed her knee? But do you think it was out of pain or? You know what I mean? What do you think?
The last thing, Choppers, the last thing going through her head is, oh my God, there goes my money.
No, just this season. I think the fact she meant this season. You know what I mean? Because they had a shot to go deep.
They had a shot to go deep. I'll tell you that right now. It was pain. And I feel bad for the girl. I really, she's one of the girls that I enjoy watching play. I enjoy watching Caitlin Clark play. What's that girl's name? Aisha. Come on, help me. Wilson.
Sure.
What's the girl from South Carolina? It's in the league now. God, can't think of her name. I enjoy watching her play. They play such a clean game.
Bigger underneath the big.
Yeah. They play such a clean game. They play a good game of basketball. They can shoot the ball. They can rebound. They understand the game. So many times I've watched a ladies basketball game and it's just like, oh, this is painful. Fellas, speaking of painful, I got to share this with you. I know I sent you some stuff Friday night, but I went to the freaking Wizards game against Orlando. The Wizards are the worst team I've ever seen. They are absolutely horrid.
Wow.
Horrid. And what I don't understand is, I don't understand how the same guy that owns the Washington Capitals owns the Wizard, and he puts no money and doesn't put any emphasis in the Wizards. I don't get that.
I think they got a good young core, to be honest with you. They do.
They're hurt. That court. You know who I like? The Sarr kid. The Sarr kid is very good.
He's one of them. Bub Carrington.
Is that Coolabee? What's the other kid's name? Coolabee. Yeah, he's going to be good.
Carrington.
I like Carrington, but he can't shoot. He can't shoot. Champagne's okay, but he can't shoot. Those guys can't shoot. But you know who I like that they picked up though? They got Chris Middleton. He's a hell of a. I tell you what, I didn't realize. He's a positive guy on the floor. He works hard up and down the court. The one thing I will say about this game is there was hustle. There was people playing basketball. Oftentimes, not too often, but I'll throw on like a Lakers game or something because I used to be a huge Lakers fan until LeBron went there, and I'm like, what am I watching? Like, what is this shit? Like this is ridiculous. And then you watch the kids play in college, and you're like, wow, That's intense. Wow, look,
Yeah.
they're battling.
I don't really watch NBA, so
You know, I don't watch it a lot. I really don't. I'll be honest with you. I don't watch it a lot, but I watch it enough to just try to stay in the mode of what's going on there. I'm ready for them to turn a new leaf. I'm ready for guys like the kid down in San Antonio.
Wemby.
I'm ready for him to step forward. I'm ready for Flag to come into the league. I'm ready for a whole new group of superstars to come into the league and really take that league back to where it was. It was terrible. There's no, these guys, Chops, you talk about shooting threes. That's all they do in the NBA, shoot threes, and they don't make it. The Wizards are the worst shooting three-point team in the NBA. They shouldn't even shoot the ball. Just
keep chucking them up, and they keep chucking them up.
It's just horrible. Horrible.
hey, something's going to go in.
Yeah. I guess you throw enough shit off the wall, something's going to stick, right? 100%. You're right. You're right. Hey, let's go back to what I was talking about with Jaden Daniels' mom, man. Is that a little bit too much of a helicopter parent now?
Yes.
Well, maybe she don't want to see him with no skeezer.
Oh, okay, and I get that. Hold on. Well, first off, she should know that's juju, you know what I mean, whatever have you, and she's still trying to make her way. But even if you thought that, perception rules the world. And right now, she is perceived as an overbearing helicopter mother, bottom line. So my thing would be, if that's what you thought, if that is what you thought, so you had to have them get up so you could now sit between them. Yo, nothing's going to happen. He wasn't going to get her pregnant at the game right then and there. She wasn't going to steal all his money right then and there. Sit back, sit beside him, do your thing. Soon as you're in the car, as you leave the arena, then you sit down and talk to him. That to me is, but see, again, you guys are parents, so you can see it differently. I don't understand. When we were coming up, if you got into a fight, win or lose, you had to fight your own battles. You had to fight your own battles. Now, when I see parents literally fighting high school kids for their parents, I'm not sure when that started. I don't know when that started.
I don't know either.
But
I don't know either.
Seriously, but on that aspect, for her to do that, man, that just, to me is just not a good look. Seriously.
Jane Daniels is the kind of kid, him, CJ Stroud, if one of my girls brought them home, I'd be perfectly happy with
it.
I'd be like, that's a nice kid. He's just a polite kid. They're very soft-spoken. Yes. Even like before the mother got there, you see their interaction.
Yes, like, and they were flirting, but they were It
was so pure. It was so neat to watch.
He was smiling, where a lot of these young cats want to be tough. I don't smile anymore. I don't show my teeth, my pearly white. He looked like he was smiling, flirting with her. They were having a good time. And mom's like, no, I got to put the squadouche on all that.
She's starting to look really bad with that. Shane, how do you feel about it? You got two girls.
I said what I said. Like I thought maybe she's just trying to keep him away from the skeezers. But Chop said if that's what she thought, then maybe that. My thing is I do try to keep my girls away from, hey, if you're getting D's and F's in school, you don't have nothing in common with my daughter, so there's no reason for you to be coming to my house.
Exactly. Now, remember when we were coming up? Now, I was my family. My dad is from the same part of Pittsburgh machine where your dad grew up. I used to get from my dad and my mom, watch out for them fast ass girls. So his mother is telling him that. He's still going to the club when she's not there. So my thing is I know he can afford a hotel room if he need to, if he don't want to bring him home. But what I'm saying is you never stop raising your children. I get that. But at some point you have to believe I've done everything I can do in this aspect. Now you can always go to mom and dad for guidance, talk as long as they're around and you can talk to them. But that shit, to me, you've told them enough about watch the girls, this, that, and the third. And that is, I just thought I didn't like the look of it. It's not me, but
if you raise your kid right, especially by the time they're in their 20s,
you
shouldn't have to come between him and a female or your daughter and a boy. If you raise your kid right, just like Sheen said, if you're bringing D's and E's home, D's and F's, if you're working in McDonald's and trying to get with my daughter who's got a career-based job, no, we ain't down. Like it just,
Not gonna be able to do it.
Right.
Not gonna be able to.
Double X posse.
Not gonna be able to do it. I don't know, man. Me personally, not we were texting. I was on other threads. I was like, that just does not look good, man. Just the way she came down and sat there with pride, almost like, I don't know who this girl is, but get away from my man. That to me was just it was just, I don't know, man.
That was weird.
It was really weird.
It just was, because now, and I see it with a lot of these, now I can catch flack for it or whatever, but I see a lot of these single mothers that you can raise your son to be a strong man, or hopefully has a positive male role model in his life. But at some point they forget he's your son. He's not your man. You don't need to protect him like that from another female. He's not your man. He's your son.
Remember the video?
You can sit on the side and give old girl side eye. I know you ain't slick. I see what you're doing. Okay. Yes, exactly. But or call him a floozy, or something like that. Don't get all these old floozies.
What's the old lady term is I can't remember, man. Dionne Warwick says it a lot. I can't remember.
I don't even. Yeah, I can't. I mean,
I ain't got with Dionne in a minute. I don't remember. Hey, all I know is I remember that video we talked about. I think it was last year.
Hussy.
There it is. Hussy. You remember that video of that pretty mom who jumped on her son on the sidelines or whatever, like after the game?
Yeah.
Because I know his dad had passed away, and it was probably an emotional time, but not like that.
No, that's just
not like that. We don't do that.
I'm out here. You know what I'm saying? I'm out here in the community. You need to jump up. You need a hug. I'm out here.
Come on.
It wasn't. Yeah, it wasn't.
Yeah, it just looked like she. Yeah.
It's too much.
Yeah.
I
think the parents need to wind it in just a little bit.
Yes, absolutely.
She's DTMing, y'all. DTMing. Doing too much.
Too much.
Yep.
Absolutely.
Fellas, we lost a couple of boxing legends this past weekend. But Livingston Bramble and the great George Foreman. What's that going to do to the boxing world with the loss of George Foreman? Because he wasn't just a past boxing legend. He was still a name that was very relevant in the public. He was more than just a heavyweight boxer, and it was more than just a guy who invented the George Foreman grill.
There you go.
Yeah, but it's two different things, because just like if you take any sport and you start asking some of these younger kids about some of the great ones, they did it for the Steelers, asking like, who's your Mount Rushmore? And did you see Austin had Mike Wallace on his Steelers Mount Rushmore? Seriously. But what I'm saying is a lot of these younger players, Big Dog, in all sports, don't give homage to other athletes in their sport. And I don't think a lot of these players, these fighters today, they've heard of Foreman. But if they said, walk up to a younger fighter, Rumble in the Jungle, who was in it? They wouldn't be able to tell you. If I said Ali, Boombaye, what does it mean? Where did they say? Who was he fighting? They won't be able to tell you that was when he was fighting Foreman in Zaire and what it meant and da-da-da and how, you know what I mean? So that's the only thing, man. And if a lot of more boxers knew, because his entire story is Foreman's, where he grew up, how he started, what got him into boxing. He was in a jail cell. He was in a jail cell as a young kid, whatever have you, and then saw a commercial where he could go to youth, like Job Corps. And that's what got him out of it. A year and a half, 2 years later, he's a little more than that, but a few years later, he's carrying a flag, which is a symbol. Everybody sees that big old dude carrying a little American flag when he wins the Olympics. You know what I mean? Then he has, after he fought, and I'm looking right at it, and I can't think. Is it Chuck Wepner? I can't think. When he retired at 28, because he was in Mexico, said he had a heat stroke. He was this, that, whatever. He thought he was near death. And that's what made him turn around and say, I'm going to the Lord, this, that, whatever. And that's why a 10-year layoff. And then he comes back and wins the belt again in his 40s. He was, but Foreman was one of the.
Hey, Chops, who did he beat?
Michael Moore. If you ever see the clip, that's the clip where Teddy Atlas is screaming in his face. You got it, to Michael Moore's face. You got to do this. You got to do this. You're going to hate yourself in the morning. You're going to hate yourself in the morning. And Moore was winning the fight. And last thing you go on a fighter is that power. And Foreman hit him with just that lumbering overhand right. And that was it, man. Foreman and if you haven't seen it, please go look it up. And everybody listen to us. Foreman, when he fought Holyfield, Holyfield hit him with a 19 or 20 punch, depending on which one you count, 19 or 20 punch combination for 15 to 16 straight seconds. All power punches he hit Foreman with and couldn't knock him off his feet.
He's like the bag, huh?
Oh, dude. Nobody knew what Foreman was a beast. Foreman was a beast. And Foreman was letting you, he'd let you take your licks to hit him because he knew if he could get to you. You know what I mean? And that's why what Ali did in that the rope-a-dope, why it's even more successful, because Foreman was just so strong. And he was a great businessman. He was just likable. He would, you know what I mean? He had great personality. He just did.
That man died with a smile on his face. I never saw that man not smile except for when he fought. He was always a happy man.
Yep. And that's what hurt. That's what hurt him. The way the people just turned on him in Africa, and they were like, Ali Boombaye, which was, Ali kill him. He was like, why don't you like me? I'm dead, whatever. But Foreman was a good dude, a great boxer. You know what I mean? 8 sons, all named George. But he was a good dude. What's that?
George won.
George won. He got 8, all named George. He was a good dude, man. And it's kind of weird because when I read that Foreman,
how about you call the house? Chops, how about you call the house? Hey, Georgia,
which one? And I'd like to know what they all called him inside the house. You know what I mean? Because they all didn't go by George. They all had nicknames. I wish I'd have known that. I wish I'd have known
Licorice.
that.
Licorice.
Yeah. They'd all had names. I wish I'd have seen that. But he was a good dude, man. He was, and it hit me, man, he's gone. Man. It wasn't but it was not the same as Ali because what he had done, but damn, you just Foreman, even at 74, there's a clip. He died at 76. There's a clip of him hitting the heavy bag at 74, not 2 years ago. Still rocking it, shifting the foundation. He was a beast, man. He would definitely be missed. R.I.P. to him. Yeah. My condolences to his family.
That's the thing. And the reason I asked that question is I don't see guys in the boxing world today, and I know you're deep into it, Chops, but I don't see guys in the boxing world today that are household names like George Foreman was, like Muhammad Ali was, like Mike Tyson was, like Ray Boom Boom Mancini. Like I can just start rattling off names of guys that were legendary boxers.
That was a different time though, because those guys were all on ABC like every month.
But here's the thing. With the boxers now, the state of boxing now, the fact that Jake Paul can offer guys big time millions and millions of dollars to fight, and him fighting a 60-some-year-old Tyson, him fighting Ben Askren, him fighting guys that are way past their prime or never boxers, and they're selling out arenas. That's where we are with the modern day fan. And that's also why a lot of these guys may say, I like Tank, I like this guy, and I like these boxers, but they couldn't tell you anything about them. Where we were invested in these guys. You know what I mean? They don't do that nowadays.
Promotionally speaking, they put those guys out there, and we dove in.
Yeah. Remember when we were coming up, the saying was, to be the man, you got to beat the man. Now everybody is like, I'm afraid to fight the top guys because I want to keep my I want to keep my 10-0, 12-0, 13-0. You know what I mean? So we're not seeing. That's why a lot of people.
And I got to work hard to get back to the top again, to get another shot if I lose.
Exactly.
It's this generation, and we keep talking about it over and over again. If speaking of this generation, how about this guy, Gable Stevenson?
That was
crazy.
Is it crazy or is it just sports? You know what I mean?
Dude, it is sports.
It is sports, and that's why they play the game. But you're talking about a guy who was on a 69 win. 69. He had not been, the crazy part is he had not given up a takedown all season. Yeah. He left wrestling, signed with WWE. That just didn't work out. He's not real marketable. He's the complete antithesis of what George Foreman was, with his attitude, his smile, whatever have you. He just wants to get in and wreck people. He also went to the Buffalo Bills, made a past few cuts, just didn't cut it. But so he came back to wrestling. 69 match win streak, had not been taken down all year. And with 30 seconds, not less than 30 seconds left, he gets a takedown. He gets taken down, and that's how he loses. Fellas, I mean, and you're right. That's why they play the games. anything can happen when punches are being thrown. But that was a huge upset. I don't know if any of you guys watched it or heard Daniel Cormier go. The entire arena went crazy. Nobody expected that. Nobody expected that.
That's that this year's wrestling, NCAA wrestling, may have put wrestling really on the map. Like with Kel Sanderson winning another national championship at Penn State, even though Iowa's still very, very good, Penn State's wrestling.
Dude, Iowa is very good, but when you guys get into it, what Penn State is doing for the last 7-8 years, it's crazy. Also, real quick, with these kids coming up nowadays, a lot of these teenagers couldn't couldn't have the heart and the dedication to become a wrestler nowadays. They just because wrestling always goes back to fundamentals.
No, I see it. I see it at the high school level. I do. I've seen some kids in my high school that are just off the charts.
No. Yeah, you're absolutely right. But you will always see more kids go out for basketball than you will wrestling. You will see more guys show up to basketball practice or baseball practice than wrestling or do what it takes. You're always going to have your few. But when you look at how many teenagers are in the United States that play soccer, that play baseball, whatever have you, the dedication, fellas, you're not realizing these are guys that can't weigh in more than 135. They may walk around at 157, 160, and they got to suck weight to 133. They could go all day with eating just a can of tuna. That dedication, you're not seeing that as much anymore. And Mark, and the guys that you see it, ask them what they do and then ask how many guys really work out.
I don't have to ask them. It was probably, I don't know, mid-December, maybe mid-January. I can't remember when it was. It wasn't a whole long time ago, but it was about mid-season wrestling. One of the kids comes in my room who's a wrestler. He's a football player too, very dedicated to sports. He says, Maradei, can I talk to you? I'm in the middle of teaching. Maradei, can I talk to you? All right. I said, hey, get out your phone. Just chill for a minute.
Yeah.
And I thought, you know what? You walking the thin line with me. Anyway, I pulled a kid over to the side and I said, what do you need? What's up? Everything okay? He's like, yeah, I got to sweat off 2 pounds. You have any of them big green plastic bags? Them trash bags? He pulled me out of teaching. It was like 5th period. He's like, I need to sweat this off before weigh-ins at the end of school. Yeah. I'm like, dude, I can't.
I don't know what his ranking is, but like my cousin Mario, Hutcherson Mario, right?
He just won again.
Yeah. He is. He went to the Clarion Open, which is a college open, and placed 4th. He beat guy, and he's a freshman in high school. But he's going to the point, and it helps a lot of these cats. If you have fathers that have been successful in sports somehow and let you do it if you want to do it, that's one of the biggest things. Because you see some of these cats whose their fathers are trying to live vicariously through them, and you see they don't have the love for it, that you don't have the love for it. I'd like to know that cat that came to you and said, I need to sweat off 2 pounds. His father, I bet, backs him, but it's like, if you want to wrestle, you can wrestle. But because I've known guys that they want to live vicariously through their son, and they're pushing their son to where they don't even like it anymore.
That's the one thing about me. It's funny you say that, Chops, because I was talking to somebody today. Actually, one of my fraternity brothers gave me a call, and his kid's a stud athlete, just a stud. He goes to one of the schools out in the Allentown area, a well-known school. Just off the top of my head, I can't remember, but he's a stud, and he's a Division I recruit for football, but he doesn't want to play football anymore because the coach soured him on it. He wants to play basketball. He's a stud in basketball. He's playing on some exclusive AAU team where his mother has to take him 3 times a week down toward Philadelphia for him to practice. Anyway, long story short, my son, and we were talking about this, I have never pushed him to do any sports. No. I let him try it if he wants to try it. He got kind of mad at me when football season was coming around his first year. And he said, Dad, you don't think I can do it? And I said, I don't know if you can do it. I said, I don't know. I said, you got to practice every day. You don't just get to stand around. It's not like youth league practices.
Yeah.
You're competing all the time. I said, it's different when you go to high school and participate. Yeah. And he got about halfway through the season and he said to me, what do you think? How'd I do? And I said, you're kicking ass. I can't say that I'm shocked at you because I know what a competitor you are, but I was never going to push you into doing this. If you didn't want to play football, you didn't play football.
Yeah, that's
now
it.
he's playing baseball. He's playing.
Is that his first love or hockey?
It's funny you asked me that question. So he didn't play hockey this year, right? Because our ice rink was down and all that shit. Right. So about a week ago, I get an email from a local co-op that's putting together a team. And they said, is Vincent interested in playing? We're going to have 4 practices and play 10 games. And he came now,
right?
Yeah, it's open now. Yeah. And he came home from baseball and I said, hey, buddy, I said, I got this email. What do you think? And I let him read. He said, yeah, I'm going to play. So he going to jumble around the rest of his JV baseball season. He's going to be playing some Babe Ruth ball, and he's going to do hockey as well. And you know what? He damn well sure loves it. He said, I need to get in better shape for hockey, but I need to do this.
Yeah. See, and I personally, and I understand I'm old school, but I like that better when kids play multiple sports rather than, you know what I mean? Great if you want to focus on one, but play multiple sports, learn different, skill sets, have different skill sets, do different things that can, help you do and make you more well-rounded person, meeting different people. I love it when kids play multiple sports.
Yeah. Hey, Prosper Duke, thanks for reaching out to us. Really appreciate it. If you could send us an email at originalsportspodcast@gmail.com and tell us a little bit more about Streamboo, streamboo.com. We'd love to check it out. We always appreciate people giving us some insight and checking out our show.
I'll drop. Hey, Prosper Duke, I'm willing to drop the actual factuals on any platform. I drop the actual factuals.
I can't, for the love of me, Chops, I cannot remember what movie that's from.
Malcolm Farrakhan, he was dropping the actual factuals. Furious.
Fellas.
Furious Styles.
Furious.
Hey, we're bumping up against the clock. Last thing I want to talk about for today is Alex Ovechkin breaking Wayne Gretzky's goal-scoring streak. He is right there. He's on the cusp. Okay?
Fellas, I don't know Wayne Gretzky.
Okay.
So I don't want him to break it.
So you stay out of it.
I don't want him to break it.
So you stay out of this.
I don't want him to break it. I don't want him to break it. I know he's put his time in. He's a hell of a player. I just like Gretzky to whether it was the Kings, the Oilers, I like Gretzky. I don't want him to break it.
My thing is, for me, and I said this about the Saquon thing, like if you're breaking the record in more games, I can't go for that as being broke. You got to break it in the same amount or less. You can tie it or you can do it in less.
Yeah.
Right? That's my opinion.
I understand.
Listen, hold on. Because to me, Ovechkin is that's all he does. What else can he do?
Yeah. He's definitely not the stick handler Gretzky was. But let me ask you guys this. Do you think the game is significantly more physical then than it is now?
Hell yeah.
Okay.
It's a fast game now.
Yeah.
It is fast.
Maradei will tell you that. Yeah, listen, man. Hell yeah. It's way.
You used to have like Sheehy the Butcher. You used to have those enforcers. I don't know.
That's what I'm saying.
Yeah, so anymore.
So Gretzky, he always had to make sure his guys were around him, but he took his licks.
Marty McSorley.
Yep. Bob Probert. I can name them all. I can name Joey Kosar. There's just a ton of guys.
What I'm saying, man.
That's all I'm saying.
Okay. So I said, I don't want to see him break because I like Gretzky. Sheen is saying you got to play the same amount of games. What's your thought on it, Barber?
I will say one thing about Alex Ovechkin. He's grown up a lot as a hockey player, but he's only a goal scorer. He's not a complete player, guys. He's just not. A bigger record.
Team better.
I respect what he's doing. And if you're a Caps fan and you think, oh, that's just Maradei being a Penguin fan, no, it's not. And you know that. Alex Ovechkin has an office. He sits in that office. They feed him the puck, and he's so quick with his hands, and he scores a lot of goals that way. Alex Ovechkin doesn't play 200 feet of ice. Alex Ovechkin doesn't do that kind of stuff. He's not a spectacular puck handler. He's never killed a penalty. He could never be asked to kill a penalty.
And you can't say, well, because I'm a Penguins fan. You can't say, oh, because they're Penguins fans are saying it. No, it's just I've seen Lemieux, and this show's over on that comment. I'll
tell you this much: a big record that's going to go down. before the season ends is Sidney Crosby is going to be the only player in the history of the NHL to average a point a game for 20 seasons.
Yeah.
Do you know how amazing that is? That means in one way or another, he has supported somebody scoring a goal in every game.
Yeah.
That is incredible.
Yeah.
It really is. Like, you can say what you want. Like, all these people are like, Crosby's a crybaby, blah, 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 whatever. I don't care. You say what you want. I don't care. Sidney Crosby still plays 200 feet of ice every night when he plays the game. He's still the consummate professional. He's not leaving the game till he feels his game drops off. This guy's going to be potentially in the top 15 scorers as a 37-year-old. Are you kidding me? Like, that's unheard of. The shape he's in and what he's still doing. If Dubas does not put some guys around him over the next few years, he did him a disservice. Okay, yeah. I get what just happened with Letang and Malkin. I get that shit. But you know what? Those guys' contracts are almost done. He could still move those guys with a year left. Put some guys around him. Give him one more chance because he's not leaving Pittsburgh. He's made that very clear. We got
some pretty sucky owners in Pittsburgh now.
Yeah, across the board, to be honest with you. Hey, I want to end on this comment, fellas. I forget what his name is. He's a national sports writer, and he ranked all 32 teams coming north or coming, going home to play their baseball season. He ranked their offenses. The Pirates had the third worst offense. They have the third worst offense in baseball going into the 2025 season. And here's what makes it sick. They have a top 10 pitching staff.
Right. So they're going to either have to win a lot of 2-1s or lose a lot of 2-1s.
Yeah. I'll tell you what's going to happen. Skeens is going to get so frustrated in the next couple of years, he'll ask to be traded. That's what's going to happen.
Oh, yeah. Or not. Yeah. Yeah, absolutely.
Because they have him under contract for several years with arbitration and everything. Yeah. Hey, fellas, go ahead and tell me where they can find you at. Start with you, Sheen.
I'm everywhere. Facebook, Instagram, TikTok, the X, all that. Shane Hill. Easy.
Yep.
I'm easy.
Easy. Yeah. Like Sunday morning. Chops, tell them where they can find you.
Come on, on Twitter, on the X, you can find me at The Real Big Chops. On the gram, it's Big Chop 79. On TikTok, Big Chops 824. On Facebook, I go by my government, Michael Gregory Mills. But either way, holla at ya, boy.
Hey, you can find all this information and more in our show notes that we have attached to our show. There's also our link tree, which takes you to all our social medias. Our website is originalsportspodcast.com, and you can find us everywhere, like I said. Thanks to all our networks that we are on. Let's Talk Sports, Sideline Sports, Entertainment, Elite Sports and Entertainment, Manning Media, Peak One Sports, PDF Sports. Thanks to you all, including National Streaming Sports, who does our Roku on Tuesday nights. Hey, don't forget to check us out on Thursday nights, and we talk all Pittsburgh Steelers stuff. We have a lot to talk about this Thursday. I'll tell you, there's some things that we need to hash out. Thanks to Charlie Hodgson for doing our music. Steve Medley. Next week is the last show for season 5. You guys will have a 2-3 week break. Next week, we have a special guest coming on, Brian Fleury, tight ends coach of the San Francisco 49ers. We're going to find out what's going on with the Niners this offseason, moving pieces of the puzzle around. And he's also George Kittle's right-hand man when it comes to coaches. That's his boy. So, hey, join us next week. We look forward to seeing you, having you, talking to you. Thanks again for joining us tonight.